TBW interview with TORQ. Today we've got Marcus here with us. Marcus, please introduce yourself.
Hey guys, so yeah, my name is Marcus Wilde. I'm the performance director from TORQ Fitness. So essentially look after everything sports nutrition, sports science, physiology, anything sports science at TORQ really.
Super. We've got Kishan here with us. Yeah, I'll use the other arm.
Hello.
Who is both a rider on TBW and also a TORQ ambassador. So he's a great halfway between us to kind of talk a bit more about the products and give his opinion on some things. The first thing that stands out about TORQ is the fueling system and the units that are used: 1 bar, 1 gel, 1 drink, and 3 or 4 per hour. Can you talk us through how that was developed?
Yeah, so it was quite interesting, and it was actually developed amongst others, but it was developed essentially off the back of a number of research papers that started to emerge around about the sort of 2005 mark from 2 lead sort of carbohydrate metabolism researchers, Asker Eukendrup and Gareth Wallace. Among others. And essentially what they looked at was that previously to 2005, the maximum absorption rate or known absorption rate of carbohydrate from the intestine to the blood was around about 60 grams per hour, or which equates to 1 gram per minute. And they were starting to explore sort of new methods. What would happen if you use 2 different types of carbohydrates, for example? And ultimately, they published a research paper in 2005, which explored the use of both glucose and fructose combined. And one of the main research findings was that when you combine those 2 carbohydrates in a 2-to-1 formula, so 2 parts glucose or maltodextrin to 1 part fructose, you can absorb up to 90 grams of carbohydrate per hour. And, ultimately that then led to a significant increase to 1.5 grams per minute. And I think off the back of that, it was then a case of then looking at like the applied practice considerations, actually how are athletes going to use this product? We want to take off the pressures of calculating how much carbohydrate somebody is utilized or consumed per hour, because quite often you see a gel with 40 grams of carbs, you see a drink with 23 grams of carbs, and trying to do that math 4 hours into a road race can get a bit overwhelming, so it kind of got to a point. Yeah, exactly. So when you've got 90 grams an hour as this sort of optimal threshold for carbohydrate absorption, that if you can divide that across 3 products or 4 products, each one of those being 30 grams, you've got a very, very simple yet effective system.
Yeah, so makes so much sense, really.
Yeah.
And then obviously in the pandemic, you've had to really shift on how you develop things and what else changed. And you've come out with, I noticed 2 new products you've come out with quite recently. One's ATAC and then Defend as your kind of immune system supplement. Can you talk us through those?
Yeah, so ultimately they are there to protect the athlete against common colds and flus, which we all know.
Very kind of topical on.
Yes. Yeah, and it was kind of the COVID-19 pandemic that kind of made us very aware of this and how athletes can be so susceptible to developing illness, cold, flu, infections, throughout the training phases of the year, especially in the cooler conditions, but then equally in high training phases, whether that be high racing periods of races back to back or training camps, for example, where both the intensity and the volume are quite high. And ultimately what we found was that when you combine a number of vitamins, minerals together, we could essentially come up with the ATAC product, which was high dose vitamin C and amongst others. And then we also, and it's something that we're still very much looking into, and it's the sort of the understanding of vitamin D on athletic performance. And that's where, although it's been launched, it's not available just yet. But yeah, the TORQ Defend is there to essentially, it is, as it says on the tin, defend the athlete against sort of viral infections.
And that brings us quite nicely on to the next question, which is kind of your product range, what product are you most proud of coming up or being involved in? Or
yes, so I mean, it's quite interesting. So to be honest, I wouldn't put it down to a single product. I think the thing that we're probably most proud of as a whole would be just the fueling system.
Yeah,
all of those products back to back work seamlessly together. It's simple in terms of 30 of those fueling units in terms of grams of carbohydrate. It's effective. We know that based off all the scientific literature. And it's one of the key things with it is that it's so adaptable as well. You consider environmental conditions and you consider high sweat rates. Well, you can just lean more towards the drink, for example, because you're still getting all your electrolytes. You're replacing those fluids lost through sweat, but you're still getting your 30 grams of carbs.
Yeah, I mean, so at the end of last season, I'd done the entire season on TORQ products. Yeah. 3 years later, part of a bet, I went and ran a marathon.
Yeah.
I went and grabbed the TORQ products and put it in my pocket. I was like, I know these work for me. I know they're going to get me through stuff. Yeah. TORQ, and just went out and I got through it. And I was like, the last few months, I was like, I'm glad I've got what I trust in my pockets.
Yeah.
It's just that reliability, I think, more than anything. It's
like, sure. You back that up with sort of the wealth of scientific literature supporting the product development as well, along with then the flavor range that we've got.
And it's so accurate. Me and talking about this the other day, it is what it says, which I think is so nice.
And that's something that I think, from a whole, that's something that we're so proud of. The fact that, I mean, Apple Crumble took us around about 2 years to fully develop and to get right. But that goes to show the level of intricacy that we'll go to make sure that flavor is absolutely bang on, and we won't launch until it is.
Why did it take you so long to make Apple Crumble?
I mean, obviously it wasn't just 2 years straight working on one product. Obviously there's other things that come along and come and go. But what we were finding that we'd be happy with it, and then somebody would suggest a slightly different avenue, maybe increasing maybe a slightly different different type of flavor, which would help to bring out maybe more apple, or a flavor type that would help to bring out more of the crumble. And so you do that a number of times, and then before you know it, you've got 40 different samples in front of you, and it's a case of them whittling it down to the final few, kind of like some sort of talent show on TV.
I think I had a cherry bakewell the other day and almost stopped, almost mid-bite, and went, that is too accurate for a gel. Like, looking at it going,
so a lot of time goes into those, and but it's something that we're proud of, and we're happy to tell people the amount of time it takes, because it just shows how much the product means to us, really. We're not going to launch something half-heartedly.
And with timelines like that, you must know what's on the horizon next. Are we allowed to know? Are we allowed to?
Okay, so that's a cool question. I mean, yes, there is some cool stuff on the horizon. It wouldn't be right of me it wouldn't be right of me to jump the gun and blurt out what that is. My job might be at stake. But I think what we're looking at is a potential or support, or maybe some sort of addition to maybe the sort of fueling system product, something that maybe sits alongside that. But that's probably as far as I can go, really.
Okay. And then a question I want to ask for you more on a personal level is, and this is something I'm asking every rider and every sponsor, what's your best and then worst moment on a bike as an individual?
Oh man. Okay, so best moment. I mean, the best moments always come down from a racing scenario to race wins, and probably your first ever race win. That's the one that always stays with you. The time which you put all that training, that effort in, and you reap the rewards from it. Worst memories probably come from a crash, actually, which I just completely overcooked a hairpin. It was only a slow crash, but I think I went down heavy, had some horrendous road rash on my shins, and a few days later, this is kind of cycling related, kind of not cycling related, but a few days later I was wearing a pair of skinny jeans, as you do, and I completely forgot about my. You can kind of see where this is going.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about my road rash. It's a slightly gruesome, but it'd been leaking throughout the day and stuck to my jeans, and I hadn't realised. I got home that night, took my jeans off, ripped them off as you do, and it ripped the scab off, and the pain was just excruciating. And yeah, I think that's, although it's maybe not directly cycling related, it stemmed from a crash. And you kind of think, okay, if I'm going to crash, let's get it bandaged and let's not wear skinny jeans.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just a no from me on that one.
But I think, probably moving forward, overall, looking at things, you kind of learn, I think, as you get a bit older as well, to actually just appreciate the summer coffee rides. The coffee rides with your mates, where actually it's maybe in an easy low load week.
Yeah, definitely now, where you only go out with 2 people or something, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And actually just maybe enjoying the social element a little bit more, taking the pressure off, because racing and training can become very high pressure environments, and it is nice to get the balance between the two elements.
Kishan, we talked earlier and you wanted to ask a question about the caffeine type used. Do you want to share?
Well, I've been using some of the caffeine gels on harder highs or towards the end, but you've used guarana, and I've researched a little bit, and it comes from fruit. And I just wanted to know why you've used that and not traditional just caffeine like every other brand has.
Yeah, so it stems back to our entirely natural ethos. We don't use any artificial colors, sweeteners, flavors, and that stems right through to all the other ingredients that we source. And essentially, guarana is a caffeinated plant extract. It comes from a similar plant to the coffee bean. Which, as we all know, is very rich in caffeine. And so ultimately, it's that natural element that supports the product, our brand ethos. And that's why we choose to use just the natural occurring caffeine from guarana over sort of typical sort of maybe chemical ingredients that you might find from other brands.
No, super. Look, thank you, Marcus. Great to catch up with you. Great to know a bit more about TORQ.
No worries.
Look forward to using more of it in the future.
Thank you very much.